I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Chris Detzel, and I am the Global Community Manager here at Imperva. Welcome to today's webinar, Attack Analytics. Joining me is the star of the show today, is Uzi Galili. He's a product manager here at Imperva. We have several webinars coming up. I'm super excited about the lineup from now and until October 14th. We have one or two more that will be added in those slots. Without further ado, though, I'm going to give you Uzi, if you want to start sharing and take off. I really appreciate it.
Hi, thank you, Chris. Let me just share my screen. So we will start. Thank you again, and thank you for hosting me in this webinar. And I would like to shout out for your great work that you are doing within the community and essentially building this community. And thank you, everybody who joined this webinar. As he said, I'm Uzi, and he pronounced the name correctly, which is great. And I'm the product manager of Attack Analytics, and I will be joined today by Michael Wright, which is the product marketing manager of application security portfolio. So Michael will start with some challenges that we see amongst our customers and the security teams in the industry that basically those are the ones caused us to build Attack Analytics to start with. Then I will go through some of the functionality that addresses these challenges in Attack Analytics. This slides part will be short, and then we will go directly to the demo. We will talk throughout the webinar on the demo system, demonstrating some capabilities and flows. Throughout the webinar, you can, of course, ask questions anytime in the chat or even unmute yourself. If not, we also reserve some time after the demo to collect your additional questions. We will finish by a couple of slides that talks about licensing and way forward. Before we start with the challenges, I want to start with the bottom line. So Attack Analytics helps you focus on what's important, and it saves you time. And how it is doing it? It is doing it by smartly clustering events into incidents, or insane amount of events that you get from your sensors into specific incidents with human readable narratives. It is doing so by actionable insights, which come to test your configuration against your attack patterns and give you potential issues. It gives you extended visibility around multiple sensors and around your threat landscape, and all this with the endpoint of basically improving your security. So Michael, do you want to go over the challenges? Let me just give you remote control access.
Yeah, that'd be great. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic.
Can you control the slide?
I believe I'm moving to the next slide here now, if you can confirm that has happened. Yes, okay. Fantastic. So hi everyone, thanks for joining us. As Uzi said, I'm Michael Wright. I'm part of our product marketing team, and I wanted to just call out a few challenges that we have identified from speaking to customers like yourselves. The first of which being that alert overload. Over a quarter of organizations today are getting hammered with 1 million plus security alerts, and especially those that are in finance and government. This, as we know, can become quite exhausting, especially when you're under an avalanche of alerts. And studies find that sometimes, often 80% of those alerts aren't even critical and equate to false positives. And that's from a dark reading poll. And we've listed the sources in the bottom left corner, and you can provide those after the event as well, after the webinar. The second would be a lack of context. So more and more paths are becoming available today to access your data, and you're in your environment that monitor and secure all these different sensors at play, from bots to APIs to web application firewalls, and this can really become overwhelming. You may find, especially in today's current environment, that you have a limited workforce, and teams just aren't the size that they need to be in order to effectively and efficiently sift through the amount of traffic, with the average being 4 hours alone a day spent by individuals just to investigate daily alerts and incidents. And lastly, we believe that there's a SIM complexity out there. So we get that more and more companies are using SIMs of some sort, and they sometimes aren't simple to configure and aren't customized specific to your organization. So with that, we want to ensure that you're getting the most value out of attack analytics as it stands today. And the first thing that we would say is a challenge tied to alert overload is that alert fatigue is real. And because it's so real, events can be overlooked. And when there's a lack of context, there isn't enough information present. And when there's not enough information present, of course, the time to resolve these incidents becomes longer. And if it already takes 4 hours on a manual level to investigate alerts within your day, you need better context, you need better clarity within that. For a limited workforce, more and more is being asked of our security experts. Those looking after the posture of your environment needs to be strengthened. And with less resources financially, less time to do other responsibilities, this equals less coverage across focusing on what matters most. And lastly, with SIM complexity, customization becomes the dominant factor to ensure value for money. You want to get the most out of your environment, which then sometimes requires subject matter experts. So how does attack analytics fit into all of this? And if you're currently not using attack analytics but are interested, because you may not know you're currently entitled to it, we're gonna come to that in the next slide. So you can see our sort of holistic portfolio look and our edge-to-end protection. And right there, front and center, is where attack analytics sits within our application security portfolio in the purple box, surrounded by a multitude of different sensors, all of which are additional solutions within Imperva's edge-to-ed protection stack for both apps and data security. What's important to grasp here, though, in this slide is that all of these sensors feed into our attack analytics engine. So any threats coming through our web application firewall or as a bot or a DDoS attack, smokescreen, attack analytics is gaining visibility into all of that traffic and doing all of the heavy lifting for you to save those precious hours we were speaking about in the day. So let's look at how that plays out as a use case. This is 90 days of attack traffic that we're going to break down. In this example, this was pulled from Halloween last year from an enterprise telco company, and nearly 47 million and a half unique security events were filtering through in that 90 days of traffic. And this, of course, through attack analytics, was then distilled down to 10,000 clustered incidents. And of those 10,000 clustered incidents, 8,000 were minor, so just your common bots and scanners. Just under 2,000 were major, specific targeted attacks. But ultimately, with all the noise removed from the chaos of 47.5 million alerts, 502 were critical incidents within those 90 days and worth investigating further. So that just can really show you how, as you're aware, there's a lot of noise out there and there's a lot of alerts, and it's like what is worth spending time on. If we go back to those challenges and think, okay, well, how do we actually decipher what we investigate? Attack analytics is the answer to drill down and get to that resolution. So without further ado, I'll turn it back over to Uzi as he highlights the different areas that the functionality shows within attack analytics. I'll just stop my remote control there, Uzi, so control's back to you.
Go out of mute, sorry. So thank you. Just go through the slide again. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the functionality or the main capabilities of attack analytics to address the challenges. And in the sample use case that Michael showed you, touch and ties to the main capability or the main functionality of attack analytics. And this is the smart clustering of events into narratives, into incidents that are manageable and with full context. So this, how we do it? We do it by basically applying machine learning algorithms and putting our domain expertise into in-house algorithms and go into the process in order to go and take all these large amount of events and put them inside a very clear incidents with a human readable narrative. So we start with the raw data. So the raw data is the events data itself. Everything that comes from your WAF, either WAF gateway, cloud WAF. It actually can support also RASP today and other systems. So, but the main use case we are talking about is WAF, cloud WAF and WAF gateway. And so the raw data is coming into the system, everything that there is inside in the events. Then goes through enrichment. So we add some context to the information and we add some additional information that's coming from other systems, things like the ASN, the reputation of the IP, the sophistication of the attack, fingerprint of the device, a lot of additional information that fed into this in order to have better data. Then we start with what is called feature extraction. Basically, one of the power of machine learning is the ability to use multiple parameters and features and feed them into the decision making, as opposed to, for example, aggregating all the events by the same IP or aggregating them by the time it happened. So this takes a lot of parameters into account when doing the calculation. Then we go and we do the distance calculation. This is actually where the secret sauce starts, where we put our expertise inside these calculations. And those functions basically will find the distance between these enriched events and based on the features we extracted. Eventually, all this information, including the distance between the events, will fed into clustering algorithms. And the clustering algorithm will result with multiple clusters where each cluster is an incident. And this incident will be then summarizing a big amount of events inside and will give kind of a narrative of the attack itself. And this is kind of the main capability. You will see it soon in the demo. Those of you who are using Attack Analytics already knows it. Those of you who are still not using it, this is the main power of Attack Analytics. Another very important feature or functionality that we added is what we call today actionable insights. This is today available only for Cloud WAF. It's not available for WAF Gateway yet. And this aims to improve the security posture. And what it does, it takes your attack patterns. So we analyze your attacks, the attacks that happen on your system. We cross-reference the attacks with your configurations. And this is where the gap between the Cloud WAF to the WAF gateway, the accessibility to the configurations. Then we enrich this with global intelligence. So basically with Imperva's knowledge of our cloud community and of our threat research lab to feed with additional information that is relevant for the insight. We pinpoint specific configuration issues which are potentially problematic and you should pay attention to. And we even recommend an action. And we will see during the demo, we will see a couple of those according to the times that we will have, but I want to highlight the types. So the first type is a misconfiguration of WAF settings. This is an insight which essentially says that IP, that a site is configured to alert, configured to block. The site was attacked, and this is why we want to kind of highlight it to you, show it that it was potentially misconfigured. We will also show you the others that weren't attacked, but we start based on attacks. So this is the first type. The second type is whitelisted malicious IP. This means that IPs which reside in your allowed list are attacking other Imperva customers. So you won't know if they attack you or not because they are on your whitelist, and we won't know it as well. But since they are attacking other customers, we recommend to pay attention to them and decide what to do with them. We will actually recommend most of the time to remove them from the list, at least, maybe even more severe action. The third type is a bad reputation IP is attacking you. And we will talk in a second about what is a bad reputation IP, but essentially this is IP that have a high risk score that is attacking you. we will point you to the attacks that he's doing, and we will recommend what to do with it. The first one, which is a brand new one, is exposed origin server. So we identify servers that are exposed to direct access, that are not protected by the WAF as it's supposed to be. And those are definitely deserve some attention. Not necessarily we want to fix anything, but since we don't know what's going on because they are accessible directly, then we recommend to take a look. And there is another one which is related to the cloud side protection product, which is a new one. So most of you probably it's not related to it. To you, it's basically says that a third party code and components that you have in your site may jeopardize you and require a review. There is another one which is not written in this deck yet because it's due to release next week. And this will look on APIs and say which APIs are identified to be not protected by the API security feature that we have. And the third capability or big functionality, or this one you can actually even call the service that is available, this is also available for WAF Gateway and all the rest. It's what we call reputation intelligence. In this case, the IP intelligence part of it, and we'll extend it in the future. So the IP intelligence is where we analyze IPs, all the IPs in the systems that are attacking you, basically. We'll get a score, rescore based on the information that Imperva have on those IPs from the last 2 weeks. Everything that they done to other customers and everything that all the attacks they done not only to you. This is kind of a global intelligence coming into play. According to all these things, we will give them a rescore, and this feature or service comes to give you more information so you can take a more informed decisions and act faster without the need to go out of the system itself. We will see all this during the demo. So while I'm switching to the demo, any question by now, Chris?
We do. So the first question, how do you determine if there is an exposed origin server if you haven't added it to the protected IPs?
So as of today, we have two things that we are testing for the origin, and we're gonna extend the capabilities there. We are checking two things. One is, sorry, I'm just logging in parallel. So one of the things that we are doing is for all the IPs that are listed in the configuration and settings, we are going and test for direct access in HTTP request and HTTPS for several ports. And the other test is just checking if the DNS, if the IPs are available on the DNS. The next thing that we will do, we're going to address sites that we host and servers that we don't have the IP, but we have a URL or anything else. This is, for example, common in use cases like if you have a CloudFront CDN beyond the WAF, etc.
Thanks, Susie. That's it for now.
Okay, so I'm just, we'll share again. I'm just logging into the system, sorry. Share screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so before I start going over some flows and information about this, for those of you who are not aware or not using attack analytics, so in your cloud component, cloud management console on the left-hand side, you will have both attack analytics and reputation intelligence. If you are licensed to attack analytics and you go there, you will see your data. If not, you will see start rail option. And we will touch at the end who is licensed and who is not. If you are a WAF gateway customer, you can see if it was enabled for you, you can see on the top right-hand side of your management console, attack analytics link or attack analytics icon, which will lead you to this screen. Now, attack analytics has 3 levels of information, basically. The first level or the highest level is the dashboard. The dashboard is kind of summarizing all the information, highlights some important points in a very graphical way. You can also export this to PDF and incorporate it in your reports. You have every graph here is exportable by its own also, so you can use it. About the information itself, so the main capability we mentioned of the clustering is brought here. So in this account is 6.3 million events into about 10 and 9.4 K incidents. And then we add the further classification into severity, critical, major, minor, and critical will be those that require your immediate attention usually. Now it can be that some of them or most of them are blocked by the system and is still considered critical because of the type of attack and all these information that we put into the severity calculation. And thus we added this important filter in this level, which can filter to those who still have alerted events. If you do this, you will see all of those incidents that some of the events passed through the defense system because of the configuration. And everything you see here is for the last 90 days. You can change the time. And the way we recommend you to work is, since you're supposed to work with the system daily, is to filter for the last 24 hours, go to the critical incidents, and then start investigation from those who have still alerted events.
That looks like a great graph of fire, Uzi.
Yeah, no, it's a shame that it's too hot now in Israel. No, I was like, it's a nice warm colors. So this is the capture the main capability or functionality of attack analytics into the graph. You have also the events over time. Usually it's just for your information. This is the important part. On the right-hand side, you have a global map of where you've been attacked from. The left side here is the top violations. By the way, the layout may look different if you are on different resolutions of screens, and they also can edit the layout. So the top violations will be the attacks that you faced in this period. You can go into each one of them is a filter basically. So if you click it, you will go only to the incidents that are related to those. You have the attack tool types, so which attack tools attacked you. And then you have also at the lower row here, you have the attacked hosts. So those who are filter that being attacked most. And on the right-hand side, you will have highlight section. And this section is basically kind of industry level information or global level. It will show incidents that are similar across our customer base and incidents that are associated with the known which incidents are not, associated with these common vulnerabilities and exploits. This gives you kind of a view of how Imperva sensors deals with the known CVEs. So this is kind of the high-level information. You have additional filter here. You can filter the entire presentation by host. Okay, you can choose host and see only its picture here. Any questions?
None at this time.
Okay. I'm sorry, just I can't see the chat while we're talking, so I will periodically check with you before I move on. So the first thing, or one of the things you can do, which saves you time after you see all this reduction in number of insights compared to events, is to start the investigation here. So as I said, you normally will filter to the period of time you want. Then you can filter to those who blocked or not. You can go directly to see the critical events. Incidents, you can choose You can see here the incidents. You can, if you didn't filter, you will see all of those who blocked as well. And when you go to here, you can see, first of all, the narrative itself. Okay, so a human readable sentence which describes the attack. So this is attack using bad bots and illegal resource access by single IP from United States using shell shock vulnerability scanner. So this is kind of very high level information about this incident. You can see the IP, and this is a dominant IP. In this case, it's a single IP, so this is the IP which attacked you. You can see where it came from, the host that was attacked, the tool, the times that fed this incident. So where the first event and the last event. This is a very short one. And how common it is amongst our customers. And if it has a CV associated, you will see it here as well. So each one that you are choosing, you can see this kind of information about it. This is the first part of your investigation. You choose what to investigate. You can, of course, restore the major and minor to the view or do whatever you want. Before I go to the third level of information, which is the details, I will show you the filters. So you have several filters you can use. You can filter by country, blocked or not, by tools, by commonality, host, violations, tool type, and CVEs. And you can also use this search and start searching for specific information. We are now stopped at one of the major. We can choose one of another one which is critical. Let me eliminate the major and the minor from the view and go back. Let's choose an attack. And this attack, we can now go and further investigate it with more details. So this specific one is a single, is a SQL injection. In this case, it was fully blocked. We could choose one which is not fully blocked. You see the same high-level information with the addition of the platform. In this case, the Cloud WAF was the source for this incident. And you can, by the way, go from here directly to the Cloud WAF settings if you need to change something in the resolve. In this case, everything was blocked, so we don't need really to fix something for this specific attack. What you can see here is the violations that were covered in this attack and the percentage. So we have SQL injection and illegal resource access, and it's few which is kind of run that is 0% cross-site scripting. Which resources were attacked in your system, the host, which IPs did it. In this case, it was a single IP again, the user agent that was used, and the pattern over time of the attack. And this is an important part, which is probably less relevant for one that was fully blocked. But if you are investigating, that you have sample events here, which include the raw data of the request itself. And you can come here and see exactly what happened and analyze it from here. In many cases, this will be enough for you to finish investigation even, because you will have several sample events you can explore here without the need to go to the events page of the Cloud WAF in this case, or in the case of WAF Gateway to go to your appropriate place there. Once you finish this case again, this one is fully blocked, so nothing much to do here, but you can acknowledge it and mark it actually as resolved. And you can even, collaborate with your colleagues and add some notes about who is investigating it. If there was a ticket assigned to it in your ticketing system, you can write it here and then kind of talk between you when you investigate incidents. If we go back to the incident list, this one will be marked as acknowledged if I acknowledge it. So in this case, I know it was done. Next time I'm checking or somebody else is checking. So this is about the investigations. I kind of skip the fact that each IP here is a link. I will take you to this link in a minute or so. So this is kind of a best practice for the investigation. You start from the dashboard, you filter, you go to the critical, you choose what you want to see, you go further to the further details, go over all the information that you have here, go to the sample events, see what can help you there, and then if you need to resolve, you go directly to where you need to fix it from attack analytics. If it's okay by you or you want to finish with it, you can acknowledge it, and you continue with your work. Let me go back to the dashboard now. Another thing which is important here to see, and this is relevant for customers which use also our network DDoS protection, and this is the indication for volumetric DDoS. Volumetric DDoS is a lower layer attack. It's on a layer 3.4. And since it's used many times as a smoke screen to hide the other attacks that happens, to keep your security teams busy handling the DDoS attack, and in the meantime doing other attacks, that we chose to add the information here, so we'll be able to kind of correlate between the attacks that happen in the application level in the same time of the volumetric DDoS. So if you click this, you can go, to the rough time that is with the DDoS attack. So you have like a day before and a day after the DDoS attack. So it will give you context. You can then find the DDoS attack itself in the list of incidents. Here it is. This is kind of information coming from lower layers. So you can see all the information about the DDoS attack itself, what size it was, what is the volumes that was blocked, and what was passed, and also the breakdown of the traffic. And you can also go directly from this link to the network traffic dashboard and see more information about this attack. But the important thing in terms of the extended visibility that we are giving you is you can now see everything that happened around the same time, the severity of it, whether it was blocked or not. If everything was blocked, you can be relaxed. If there is something you want to investigate, as we explained earlier, you can do it. This is giving you the opportunity to check if the DDoS is related to any other attacks that happened in parallel to the DDoS itself. And as we said, the extended visibility is an important part of attack analytics. And now you can see basically all the attacks and the correlation of the layer 7 attacks, but also the network DDoS attack. Chris, there is a question?
Yeah. So can we provide some feedback to Imperva Attack Analytics about investigation done from our side in order to improve detection on your end, like add or remove some signatures? Not that it affects, not that it's effective now, but it's good to give some feedback and improve the product even better. I agree.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. It's a good question. Today, there is no kind of automated mechanism to give feedback that will directly affect the operation, but you can definitely contact us and give us information. What you can do is you can, for example, give us indication of false positive of attack, or if it's the acknowledgement, and we will be able to, if we log into your account, see it and know what you did. And you also can, in the notes that I mentioned, write things that are addressed to us and tell us, and then we can go and check for it, because we normally don't monitor the collaboration part. And one more thing you can do is give feedback for the actionable insights, which I will get to it in a minute. But it's a good question, and it's definitely something that will be important to us to build a mechanism for feedback. But for now, you will need to do it kind of semi-manually.
Quick thought, we do have something called user voice. Would it be helpful for them, and I can put the link in there shortly, to go to user voice, log in, and add that as a feature request, or is that something different?
So it's user voice can be more useful if you want to add the capabilities that are missing. So for example, if the CVE additions that we added were based on requests for customers, so we heard it from customers in customer calls, but we also saw in user voice request for this, for features. In this case, it's more kind of indication about the incidents and the information and what the customer found during these investigations that may feed us back and help us tune the algorithms,
Okay.
if I understood correctly the question.
Yeah, I think so. There's a
But
lot of our
user voice
customers.
is a good remark, and definitely they should know about it.
Yeah.
And even if they put it something which is not exactly a feature request, we can relate to it. We see it, and then we can comment there, which will also be useful.
Great.
Okay, thank you for this. So now let's move to the actionable insights. So actionable insights today are here. So you'll see insights and the number of insights that you have. Soon we're going to change it to be a tab like the incidents. So next to the incidents, you will have insights, and then you will have some additional capabilities we will talk about in the way forward slide. The actionable insights are, as I said, kind of straight to the point actions you can do to fix possible issues. And those are built from analyzing the attack pattern and the configuration. In some cases, they won't be related directly to attacks because we might don't know there are attacks, like the whitelist use case I mentioned, or the origin server exposed case. And in some cases, they will be directly associated with attacks, like the misconfiguration of the WAF and the bad reputation. So what you will see here basically is you're going to see the types that you have when you drill down, when you go inside. And it's going to look a little bit different soon, but you will still have the same building blocks inside. So you see, first of all, the type, and then you see what happened. So in the last 7 days, we detected illegal resource access attack, 5 incidents, and clicking on it will take you to the incidents. On your site, and this is the site is configured to alert only, while most of your sites are configured to block. And this is where we recommend to change from alert to block. And then you have the actual sites that were affected. This one was attacked, the other are exposed. And if we click on it, we again go directly to the website configuration, and we did see that it's tuned to alert, and we can decide to change it to block. And in this case, if we want to get some more information before we decide, we can go to the incidents themselves, start analyzing and doing whatever we need before we decide to fix it or not.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Does Attack Analytics have any prerequirements like activating logging, or it's on by default for everything? Or is it on by, yeah, I don't know if you got that. But.
Essentially, what if you are a Cloud WAF customer with the right license, so Flex Protect, for example, and we're going to touch it at the end, or you have the right add-on, then you have it enabled. What you will need to do is to enable the logs if you want this information to go to the SIEM. So if you go to the Attack Analytics log, you need to activate the information, the logs, if you want the information also to pass to SIEM, not just to Attack Analytics. For the Attack Analytics itself, you won't need to do it. If you are a WAF gateway customer, you will need to, first of all, enable in your side of the system sending this event, and the Attack Analytics basically is available from version 12, but let's say better or more direct from version 13. And then you come here and you need to enable the export the on-premise WAF alerts here, and we will be able to see your WAF gateway information as well in Attack Analytics.
I think that's awesome. Get it for both on-prem and cloud. So.
Yeah, so on-prem today have the option directly from the management systems to open it. They don't have to log to the cloud management system, and then we'll get to this site. And they also have a link to the reputation intelligence available there, so it's definitely great. And we are expecting to give more and more coverage to our gateway customers of things like this. And
So
I'll explain later. Yeah.
I have a comment that you probably didn't see, but the comment is, and this is from a customer, so not from me. Awesome product. It makes life so much easier. So it's obviously saving him some time. So that's good. And we do have one other
Definitely
question.
good. This is exactly the intention.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully hopefully this webinar helps folks know that it's there and that they start using it and how they can use it. But I do have a question for you. How long does it take for Attack Analytics to analyze the logs from WAF Gateway and display it?
So it's a good question. Basically, Attack Analytics, it works in kind of cycles of several hours. So the information is fed all the time. And once in a while, we decide to freeze the status of incidents, of some of the incidents, when we believe that the cluster is kind of getting filled less frequently, so we can close it as an incident. So we every once in a while freeze incidents and add them to the information. So it's kind of it's not running and changing the display all the time, but every few hours you will see a new the last incidents that were added.
I think that helps. Thanks.
Yeah. So there is no definite number here, so I didn't say like X, but it's every few hours, couple of hours, let's say. Okay, so going back here, I won't go through all those insights. I guess you got the point of what they are. I will mention that, for example, if you go to one like the whitelist or the bad reputation, where it involves IP, then you can again go from the IP to the reputation intelligence. And when you want to decide what to do, you get again more information about what you see here. So what you see in the reputation intelligence, you can see the risk scores that we build based on the attack, the volumes, the information that we have about this IP from the last 14 days, okay, and it says in the top right corner. You can see where it comes from, the ASN that associated with it, the number of requests sent, what this IP is known for in the last, by the way, what it is known for in the last 24 hours. So this is even more kind of hot from the oven. And then you have the attack patterns of this IP across all our customers over time. So what it did in the last 2 weeks, the violations that are associated, the client applications, and the targeted industries. So you can see by industry if your industry is more common for this IP or not. By the way, you can freely search for IPs here, and IPs that are in the Imperva knowledge base and are attacking, you will see information about it. So this is kind of leading you, giving you, first of all the information in the same place and leading you to get a better decision, hopefully, of what to do with this IP in the whitelist in this case, or what to do with it if it's a bad reputation IP which attacking you. And this is kind of, this IP, by the way, will not appear in the bad reputation, even though it added 92 risk score, because it's in the whitelist, and we don't know it is attacking you. And this is because if he is on the whitelist. So you can cross-reference. And to the questions that was here earlier, we have this was it helpful thing below. And if it is, you can say yes, no, not sure. And once you click it, you can give a feedback. And this feedback will get to us without you needing to, tell us that you send us information. This is specifically now for the for the insights, but we probably will expand later this capability to attack analytics.
Hey, Uzi.
Yeah.
I have two questions. Kind of going back to, I don't know if there's a slide or so, but one of the questions was, how do you, so if you have both cloud WAF and on-prem, how can you tell where the alarm comes from?
So you will see it in the incident, okay? First of all, in the incident details screen, you have which platform
Oh, that's right.
generated it, okay? And And second, sometimes you will be able to see it even here on this level.
Okay. Okay.
But you will see both on the same attack analytics. So this is what is good. You're using both WAF gateway and Cloud WAF. You have visibility to everything in the same system.
Thank you. And then, does reputation intelligence have an API?
Yes. So you can now actually there is an API, and I think one of your previous webinars was by Doron Tsur, who released an open source code tool in GitHub for using this API, right? An HTML, sorry, tool for using the API and with code samples and so on.
Oh, good memory. I'll have to dig that up and make sure to send that in the follow up. So thank you.
Yeah.
And then Abhishek did share a document on the docs.imperva.com site. So for the reputation intelligence API.
Yeah,
So hopefully that
great.
helps.
Thank you, Abhishek. Okay, so I think that we can kind of wrap up the demo.
Okay.
This is I know that for those who use it frequently, this was kind of high level. For those who don't use it, I hope you have enough kind of reason now to go and use it. So let's go back to the deck for a second. And if you don't have additional questions, I will pass control again to Michael. Yeah, Michael, you might be on mute.
Yes, sorry, thank you. I have control, fantastic. So yes, thank you for feeding the questions into the chat, and please keep those coming as you think of them. Mentioning the SIM part at the beginning of the challenges, we do partner with a lot of the leading SIMs. So if you see one that's on the screen there that you use, whether it's Splunk or Logarithm, as Uzi showed in the demo there, you simply just need to go and turn on the logging functionality that will sync and push those logs to the SIM. But Uzi, do you want to talk through the way that we license attack analytics?
Yeah. So basically, the reason I want to talk about it is because there might be some people in the crowd that they are licensed already to attack analytics, and they might not be aware of it. Either Cloud WAF or WAF gateway customers. So this is today included in all the Flex Protect plans. So if you are a Flex Protect license customer, you can use Attack Analytics today, whether you are WAF gateway or Cloud WAF. If you are WAF gateway customer, you probably will need to do the settings part that will enable sending this information to Attack Analytics from the on-prem. And if you are Cloud WAF, you can already probably use it. And the other type of, for those who are not Flex Protect customers, this is an add-on to all the enterprise packages. So if you are using one of the enterprise package, you either already have it or you can purchase a similar attack analytics add-on according to the bandwidth that you have in your enterprise package. If you're using Enterprise 20, you can add on the Attack Analytics 20, and then you will be licensed to it. And for WAF gateway customers, I know for a fact that several, or at least more accurate, many of them are licensed and they are not using because they might not be aware of it. So go check and see if you can use it. Just to wrap up, before we give more time for questions, let's talk about the near future of attack analytics. So what I showed you, the main capabilities here of attack analytics, we're going to expand some of them. So we are, this quarter, we released some new actionable insights, and we are releasing another one soon. We're going to add some interactivity to this, to the actionable insights. You'll be able to snooze insights. So if you think that the insight is allowed from your point of view, for example, if you identified for IP which is a pen testing IP that you put in your whitelist. And we tell you that it's also available for other customers. You can say, okay, we know it, we snooze this for a couple of weeks of the test, and then if it's still on the whitelist 2 weeks from now, we want to know about it. So this is one of the examples you will want to use this type of snooze. In the future, later on, we're going to even add a one-click mitigation. So it will be both for the insight and for the IP reputation. So if you have something you need to solve by the recommendation we recommend, you will have a button that will enable it. And in a click of a button, you will be able to do this. For the IP reputation, this is also a plan to happen for the WAF gateway. It will be further on the roadmap after the Cloud WAF. We're going to add the additional sensor to the visibility. So the RASP coverage, which is basically available today on the beta for beta customers, going to be in general availability at the end of the quarter. We're going to add for the bot protection use cases. We already covered some bot protection capabilities today, but we're going to add some additional distill from the acquisition of distill use cases to this by the end of the year, and later on some more. And we're going to change the look and feel of the actionable insights, and they're going to be in a separate tab and not in a pop-up window. I think that's it for the main points for the near future. And if you have any question before we wrap up, I'll be happy to. Sorry, forgot one slide. It's because it's Michael's.
Yeah, no, it's just it's our last slide, everyone. As Uzi called out in the demo, if you're licensed for it, you'll see the icon. You'll see the icon either way on the left side of your dashboard. But if you are licensed for it, you'll get to the Attack Analytics dashboard right away. If you're not licensed, you'll see the Start Your Free Trial screen and those 2 screenshots there. And of course, there's other opportunities to explore further or get more information. You've got Chris and the community, Imperva.com, our customer support. They're great at helping. There's the public documentation portal, as well as capability briefs that exist, the blogs that are being released. We've done one recently on all the multi-sensor integration points that Uzi and I have co-written that's out there. And then there's demos on YouTube as well, in case you want to review anything or see some of the footage you might have seen today, similar functionality, or share with your colleagues, as well as the recording from this will be available to you to share and review going forward. That's it.
All right, thanks. Can I share my screen real quick? So everybody, thank you so much. Please feel free to post in the comment or in the chat, if you liked it or something that you might change. Upcoming webinar is our webinar on an introduction to API security. Peter will be giving just an intro to this, but we'll be doing a series of webinars around API security. So certainly excited about that. It's next week at 10 a.m. Central Time on August 5th. So thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. Again, it will be recorded, and I will be sending out all the information by early next week for sure. So I'm going to stop sharing, and that's the end of our webinar. So Uzi, thank you so much. Michael, thank you so much. And one last question. Can you start a free trial if you only have WAF Gateway?
Yes. Short answer.
Short answer is yes, Edvin. You can reach out to me, or if you know your salesperson is, let me know, or reach out to them. If you don't, reach out to me and I'll find them for you. So hopefully this is helpful. This is great. I mean, I really enjoy these a lot. So I'm going to stay on just for a few seconds, a minute or so. But it's a great overview for this. So I really liked it.
Thank you.